They, I think, put it together to give small business owners an accessible way to A/B test their content. So if you're familiar with email marketing at all, you might already know what the term A/B testing means. But what that means is that you're making two versions of a very similar piece of content to see which one gets better results from your audience. So in an email, maybe you changed out the subject line and you're A/B testing subject lines, or maybe you changed the design or the content of the email. Typically, when you A/B test, you only change one thing per test so you can see which thing actually worked better for your audience.
Welcome to Go Get Great, the podcast for aspiring entrepreneurs and ambitious small business owners. I'm your host, Brittany, owner of Brittany Miller Socials and mother of 3. Go Get Great is all about helping you make life and business work together. You'll learn about the fumbles that helped get me and my guests to where we are today so you don't have to make them. So come join the journey with Go Get Great.
I mocked this Instagram feature when they first announced it. Didn't think I would ever use it or recommend it to anyone, and now I'm addicted. What can I say? It's actually really, really fun. So let's talk about trial reels. Okay, so if you are totally new and you've never heard anyone say the word trial reels before, let's break down what that is, how you can use them, and why they're really important for business owners, even small businesses. So basically what trial reels are a way for you to test your reels. They get shared to people that are currently non-followers so you can get their feedback before you share it to your actual following. So the reason I mocked it when it first got launched was kind of for 2 reasons. The first one, the really big reason, was I barely have time sometimes to put together one version of a video. Why would I want to send it out as a trial? I just want my content to go out, to get posted, my audience to see it, and for things to happen the way they happen. So I didn't think that I would really enjoy using the trial reels feature because I didn't see its purpose. I do see a lot of people using it in a way that I would consider not efficient, not ideal, I guess we'll say that. So because it gets shown to non-followers, I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, this is a great way to reach potentially new people and get new followers. And while that's not technically incorrect, I don't think that that's the biggest benefit of using the trial reel feature. So we'll talk about it in a couple minutes, how I actually recommend business owners using it. And if you've done this, like, it's not that you've done anything wrong. You're not going to get kicked off Instagram or anything. I just don't think that that's the right strategy to have with this feature. I think it's something that might happen naturally as you use it, but that shouldn't be the only reason that you're using the trial reels feature. So again, the biggest reason that I didn't think I would use it is I didn't think that I would have time to create multiple reels and have them ready in advance to actually use the trial reel feature. Because when it gets shown to non-followers, it doesn't appear on your grid, until you post it manually, if you want that option, or until you use the auto post feature. So a lot of the content that I create is kind of time sensitive and has to go at a specific time. And I'm not always prepared, especially around the holidays, with that content ready in advance. So like, I knew that I wanted to do a reel using ChatGPT to create your New Year's resolutions. Literally did that the day of and posted it. It was not ready 48 to 72 hours in advance for me to put it out as a trial reel to see how it performed. So that I didn't think I would use it that way. And then also my kind of secondary thing with that was, so I understand the Instagram algorithm is really, really smart, but if the goal is to figure out how the content performs, why are they not showing it to your existing audience who already knows you and loves you first? Because they're going to give you the best feedback on how the video sits with them. They either like it or they don't. So why are we showing it to people that don't know us, don't like us, don't trust us yet to get feedback on it? But sometimes it's actually really good to get unbiased feedback because maybe your audience will love it and interact with it, even if it's not the best reel or the best version of a post. So presently, this feature is only available for reels, hence why it's called trial reels. And to use it, it's actually incredibly simple. You would create your reel the same way you would create any reel in your business. And then when you get to like the end page where it asks you to input your caption, choose your location, all of that fun stuff, there's literally an option and it's a toggle switch. So it's like, do you want to use trial reels? It's like, that may not be the verbatim wording, but in essence, that's what it is. And you click it if you want to turn it on, or you click it off if you don't want to use it. I don't think it starts on, so you actually have to turn it on. You'd only turn it off if you turn it on and then change your mind later. So that's how you put it out there, and then it goes out. So it doesn't show up on your grid. So then a lot of people are like, okay, well, how do I see how it's actually doing? So if you go to your profile and then you go to your Reels tab, because you have multiple different views on your Instagram profile. If you go to your Reels tab, then there's usually that little first box there that'll say drafts. So now it says drafts and trial reels. So you click on that and it'll show you all of your drafts in your trial reels. So you can actually click on your reels in there to view the insights on them and see how they're doing. So like I said before, you can have trial reels that auto post after 72 hours. So meaning that after that time frame has hit, it's going to post it automatically to your feed. So you may not even need to go in there and look at the results. If you want it to auto post anyway, that's fine. You don't have to keep tabs on that. But if you're like me, that's using it the way that I am using it, I have to manually go in and check the insights to see which one's doing well. And then I share that one manually. I feel like I've been like dramatic trying to hide how I use it, which wasn't my intention. I just like wanted to explain how it worked first before I tell you what I'm doing with it. So I've been using the trial reels feature probably the way that it was intended. Not to say that I am in Instagram's head or anything, but they, I think, put it together to give small business owners a way, an accessible way to A/B test their content. So if you're familiar with email marketing at all, you might already know what the term A/B testing means. But what that means is that you're making two versions of a very similar piece of content to see which one gets better results from your audience. So in an email, maybe you changed out the subject line and you're A/B testing subject lines, or maybe you changed the design or the content of the email. Typically, when you A/B test, you only change one thing per test, so you can see which thing actually worked better for your audience. And then it gets sent out to a very small percentage. So in an email marketing campaign that I'm A/B testing, it might get sent out to 5% and 5% of my list, so 10% in total. And whichever one wins then gets sent to the other 90%. So trial reels work in a very similar way. You can test multiple versions of a video and see which one performs better and then post that one to your feed. So if you're like, okay, well, Brittany, how do I know which one's performing better? That is a fabulous question. Thank you so much for asking. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that. So when you are looking at your trial reels, there's a few different things that it's tracking for you, very similar to how it would track an actual reel that you've shared. I'm just gonna pull mine up here so that I make sure I give you accurate information. So when you bring up your trial reel, if you're watching the video, Grayson will probably keep this edited and I'll put it here. Here we go. Are you gonna focus? There we go. So it'll give you like a trial reels insight. So it'll tell you how many plays it has because it tracks plays now, not reaches. Instagram changed that. It'll also tell you what its engagement was. So how many likes or comments you got on it and how many shares. So this is an example of a trial reel that I did not post. So you can see that it got 522 plays, 1 like, 0 comments, and no shares, which is the reason that I didn't post this one. Didn't get as much engagement as I would have liked. So those are some of the things that it shows you just as like the snapshot. You can actually go view insights at the bottom here. And it brings up more things for you to look at. So it gives you that summary again, but then it dives into like your actual real insights. So it tells you how many views, your watch time, your interactions, your profile activity, which is cool. Tells you where the views came from. So in a trial reel, it should be always 100% non-followers because that's the whole purpose of this. It gives you some more insight on your watch time. But then I like this little metric down here, which says view rate past the first 3 seconds. So if you didn't know this, I'm about to blow your mind in probably a way that's not going to make you very happy. But the average watch time of a reel is usually about 3 seconds. So you have a grand total of 3 seconds to grab someone's attention before they scroll on to the next one. So if you go into your reel insights and your average watch time is 3 seconds or less, it means you have a little bit of work to do on your reel content to get some better view time. Topic for another episode. So according to this one, this reel, almost 31% of people watching it watch past the first 3 seconds. My typical reels, only 26.1% of people actually watch past the first 3 seconds. So even in my own, this is actually from my personal account, not my business. Even in my own content, although I focus less on my personal account, those are still numbers that I want to increase. I want people to be seeing my content. And then below that, it shares your interactions. So whether they're from followers or non-followers. And again, in the trial reel insights, it will always be from non-followers because that's who they show them to. And then it tells you your profile activity at the bottom. So it gives you lots of different insight. I'm going to give you a couple examples so you can really see it in action and understand what matters most in this. So I've done 2 sets of A/B testing on my personal account. So the first A/B test that I did, and kind of the second one too, actually, I changed up the visual hook at the beginning and I changed up the text hook on screen. So basically I just took the same information and put them together in a different way to see which way my audience liked better and was more engaging for them. So in the first version, it was a before and after of the plaster art that we did for our master bedroom. So if you want to go and check it out to actually see what I'm talking about, you can see the version that I actually posted. So in the first one, the one that I didn't post, I did the before and then did the after. So they had to wait to see the after. People didn't seem to like that very much, ironically. I'm always like hooked to see the reveal at the end. But anyway, so they didn't seem to like that. Either that or they didn't like the text hook on the video. So technically I should have only tested one thing. I should have just tested the visual hook or the text hook, but I tested both because I just wanted to see how this worked. And then on the version that I did post, I did a little snippet of the after so that people could see what it was. And then it took them to like the before so they could see the before of where it started. And then it showed a little bit of like the after again after. So that one performed really well. So for this one, in terms of what I was looking for to see which version I wanted, I was just interested in plays. I wanted to see it reach as many people as possible. This wasn't like what I would say core content for me. And again, I was mainly just testing the feature. So I chose the one that got the most plays, but it was also the one that got the most engagement, which is really important. So I got 10 likes and 2 comments on this one versus my other one, which actually had fewer plays and less engagement. So just in general, that other version was not good. It did not resonate as well. So when you're choosing which one performs better, it's up to you to decide the most important metric. So you may want to go for just best reach. This is great for like educational and entertaining content that's designed to grow your audience. And yes, there are different kinds of content, even within Reels. That would be more important reach. If it's content designed to position you as an expert in your business, then the most important thing for you is probably going to be engagement. How are people interacting with the reel? So if you're going for reach, sometimes your trial reels can have very similar reach. So then you would want to choose the one that has the best view rate past the first 3 seconds. So that's where kind of that metric comes in as important. So the reel that I posted of the before and after of the plaster art, I think the metrics changed after I posted them because it says that the view rate past the first 3 seconds is 15.3%, which is lower than the last one, which kind of makes sense. Actually, when you think about it, like from a logical perspective, I showed them what the after was, and then they saw the before probably in under the first 3 seconds. So anything past that, kind of irrelevant information for them. So that was actually something I was thinking about after I posted it is, I should have made that one much shorter because they saw the after already. Whereas if you're making them wait to see the reveal, it's okay if the content's a little bit longer because they might hang in there. Obviously, my people did not hang in there. So it's not always the case, but it would be good logic in that one. So I A/B tested it a second time, and this was a good example as well. So this was again a before and after, but this was of like a full room renovation. So in this one, I switched it up again. So they got to see the after first and then the before. So the hook for that one was when you have a second master bedroom in your basement, but it started like, and then they have to like do the little room walkthrough with me. And then it shows them the original. And then it got like a funny audio and some, I put some animation on it just to make it more entertaining. So that was the one that got posted. People like that one. And for me, that one I picked because it had a really, really strong view rate past the first 3 seconds. So 72% of the people that watched this video from me watched it for more than 3 seconds, which is awesome because, like I said, I delayed the gratification. I made them wait until basically the end of the video to see the before. So this is a format of content that I would definitely do more of on my personal account because they do a lot of the before and afters, because we've been sharing some of the home renos that we actually did a long time ago, but I never posted about them. So I picked that one because it had the best like watch through time, but it also had decent interaction too. It got 12 likes and 1 share, which is really cool. And then the version that I didn't post, this was like the B version. It said, watch me turn this into a bedroom. So it started with the before, and then they got to see the after, which was the walkthrough. And they didn't seem to like that one as much. Let me check the stats. I haven't done this in a while. So it got like 500 views, which wasn't horrible. But my other one had like 1,500. So that was the one I shared. But the watch through rate on this one was only like 31%. So the other one performed better, and that was why I shared it. Sorry, I'm losing my voice again. So that was how I was playing around with the feature. Like I said, I really like it. I think it's a great way to do A/B testing, and then you choose whichever one performs best to share it to your feed for your actual audience to interact with. So a couple things that I want to note, just like observations I've had from using this, and then I'll talk about why this is important. Well, I mean, I guess the whole why it's important is because you want to get better results from your content. And sometimes you put something out there and you're like, I really don't understand why this didn't do as well as I thought it would. I thought it would get more likes. I thought it would get more interaction. And sometimes it's just a case of like the text didn't resonate, or they didn't like the video format. It could be any number of things. It could be that you used a banned hashtag. Using trial reels isn't going to help you fix the banned hashtag issue, but it's still going to give you more insight than you had before you posted it. And in the terms of using the trial reels, like I said, I want to make it super easy to do. So I literally took the same video clip and the same picture for like the before and after of the bedroom. And it's just in the first version, I did the picture first and then the video. And in the second version, I did the video and then the picture. So it didn't really take me any more than 10 minutes to put the second one together. I used the same captions for them. You could even use the same thumbnail if you want. So you can make it super easy to do, which is great for small business owners who are short on time. So you can make it accessible to use those features in that way by only making really minor adjustments to the different versions of the reels that you're creating. So that's why it's important. It gives you additional insight, can potentially help you connect with new followers, but in general, it's just designed to help you learn how to use your content better. So something that I would love to see myself do over the next little while is actually to take reels that I've already created that have done well and have not done well, and create second versions of them that are just slightly different to see how those perform, to see if I can leverage my existing content to get even better results again. So that's more like content repurposing, but repurposing it using the trial reels feature to see what works better. Yes, so additional notes, I talked about the fact that it can auto post after 72 hours. I never use that feature because I don't want to auto post 2 versions of basically the same thing. I always go in manually and pick. It usually takes up to 12 hours, sometimes 24, to actually see the insights appear. So you have to be patient with it. It's like you're not A/B testing something for 30 minutes and then sharing it. Like you've got to wait it out, commit to that. You've got to give it at least 24 hours would be my recommendation. Up to 72 hours would kind of be like max. Also to note, it's going to post in the order of your share date. So I had a trial reel running in the background that no one could see. And then I posted a new piece of content that I didn't trial because it was just a carousel post, which you can do. And then when I shared the trial reel to my grid, I thought it would be like my newest post, but it didn't. It actually came out behind my carousel post in the like order that it was technically posted. It's just, it wasn't posted to my feed at that point in time. So that's something really important to remember when you're planning, if you plan your grid, if you're like aesthetically doing that, but also just important to know, because one thing that I have actually found, which I wasn't expecting, and I can't say that I 100% love this about the feature, but sometimes when I post my trial reels and things like that happen, then my existing audience doesn't always see the content. So it actually doesn't increase the amount of like reach and engagement that I'm getting from my existing audience, because now it's buried under new content. So when the Instagram algorithm is sharing things in people's feed, it usually shares the newest post from a creator. So people would see the carousel post, but they didn't necessarily see the before and after of the bedroom as well. So a couple of days later, when I realized that was happening, I went and I shared the bedroom to my stories, mostly because I wanted to save it to a highlight. It wasn't like I was out there trying to get additional reach on it. But if this was something on my business account, then I definitely would have, because I put time and energy into creating this content. I tested it. I wanted to see which one would perform better. And to have it perform better, my audience actually needs to see it. So just something to keep in mind if you notice, which is kind of like another thing too, you'll keep your existing metrics once you go from published to your actual grid. So if you had 1,000 people watch your video and 3 likes, when it posts to your grid, those 1,000 views still show up with those 3 likes. So if, 48 hours or 72 hours after it's made its appearance on your grid, those numbers haven't really changed much. It means your existing audience is not seeing it, and maybe you should share it to your stories so that you get the actual interaction from your audience as well. So like I said, I don't love that sometimes they don't see it, especially when you go through the effort of testing all of those things. But hopefully that's something that they'll fix in the future. Maybe it was just a fluke. A lot of this I was testing around the holidays. So it's also a super busy time where people aren't always on their phone. So that could also bias some of the results and the feedback that I'm sharing. Probably not biasing it too much, but something that I'll keep tabs on, and I'll give you guys an update on it later, because I definitely don't think that this is a feature I'm going to stop using. I'm like addicted to seeing how things perform and resonate with people. And also one of the things that I'm really working on this year is, as much as I love B-roll content and it's great, I really want to work on creating stronger visual and text hooks on my videos to make sure that I'm increasing my watch time and playthrough rate. So just, if you're curious what people in the social media strategy world are doing, that's one of the things that's on my radar for this year. So just to kind of wrap it up and summarize, this is something that's really, really fun to play with. If you haven't received it yet on your profile, it's probably coming soon. Oftentimes I get these features on my personal account first, because it just has a larger following, and then it comes out later. I actually haven't looked to see if I have it on my business profile, so some of you guys might not even have this option yet. If you don't panic. It does not seem like it's something that's going anywhere, so they're just probably in the rollout phase still. Wait till it comes out, and then definitely play around with it. I have heard a few people say that they have posted things that either just didn't post or they can't seem to find later. So when you're doing the trial reels, I highly recommend before you actually hit post, you save, download to your camera roll a version of the reel, because it is a trial feature. There are glitches, happens with literally anything that they roll out as a new feature for accounts. So just be aware that could happen. Save a copy of your content that you're creating before you do it. Make sure you copy and paste your caption into a Word doc or an Asana task so you don't lose it. If it gets lost in the cyber void, at least it's very easy for you to go and put it back up as a trial reel, or just post it to your grid automatically anyway. So you're not losing the time that you're investing into doing this. You still have a copy of it. And then it'll just get better with time. So if you had an issue with it in the past, don't give up on it. They're going to keep working on it, because it seems like quite a lot of people have been using it. And like I said, it's just so incredibly helpful to get you better results from your content. I really can't see them retracting this feature. I mean, we still have notes in our DMs. I never use that, literally ever. And yet it's still there. So the feature that people are actually using, they're probably not going to take away. So if you haven't tried it yet, definitely do try it if you have it, and let me know what you think of it. Send me a DM on Instagram. And losing my train of thought here. Send me a DM on Instagram and let me know what you think of the feature and what ideas you have to trial, because it's just so much fun. And I hope that it's really helpful and gets you lots of new followers and engagement on your content, where you can really play with it and dial into what your audience is really interested in seeing. So thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Go Get Great podcast. If you found it helpful, let me know what kind of content you like so I can create more of it. Or if there's a topic you'd like me to cover that you haven't seen on my podcast yet, you can also slide into my DMs and let me know that way. A lot of times I plan strategically, and then I just wake up in the morning with a fun idea like this one, and I'm like, that's what we're recording today. So it's always nice to know when things resonate and are helpful for you. But we will see you again next week on the Go Get Great podcast.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Go Get Great. I hope you found some useful tips and tricks that can help you make life and business work together. If what I said resonates with you, please share it on social media and don't forget to tag at Brittany Miller Socials so that I can celebrate you for taking those first steps towards achieving greatness. Remember, success doesn't happen overnight. It takes dedication, hard work, and a lot of spirit. So don't be afraid to dream big and go after what you want. Keep striving for greatness. You get closer with every step forward, no matter how small they may seem. Until next time, go get great.